welcome. This is Chris Cunningham, the general partner of C2 Ventures, an early stage venture firm, and I'm here with Michael Levy, the CEO and co-founder of Somatic. Hey, Michael, how's it going?
Hey, Chris. Super happy to be here.
Yeah, man, great to be here. We are here because C2 Ventures is announcing our ninth investment over the course of about a year now. We've gotten to know Michael over the course of probably about maybe 6 to 8 months, starting back in New York. We're officially announcing our investment in his company today, and we wanted to get the opportunity to meet you, Michael, and to hear a little about the business and hopefully draw some further attention and some excitement in regards to why Matt and I were excited to invest. So let's start with what is Somatic, and maybe some background of when it started.
Yeah, for sure. And like just off the top, we're super excited to have you guys, join, and we couldn't be more thrilled to kind of be working with you guys. Yeah, so Somatic, so we make bathroom cleaning robots for office buildings, and basic idea is you have this huge need in the market, and we think machines can help and kind of make cleaning teams more efficient. So that was kind of the impetus for the company is we see this problem out in the world. This is not a thing that, if you look kind of far into the future, your children's children kind of thing, I think almost everybody would agree that robots could help do this task. It's kind of that classic dull, dirty, and dangerous, set of problems. And yeah, we just saw this as a possibility for robots to kind of help humans out. And okay, let's get to work.
So the first question I imagine someone's just gonna kind of think about is how should someone think about and not be scared of robots, not in the physical sense that it's going to harm you, but how did sort of the idea of robots come about, and how should we think about sort of the technology behind it and the value that it provides?
Yeah. So okay, let's take a step back. So first of all, it's very particular when people talk about robots. I think general public sometimes they think about something like this Boston Dynamics style. They see a video, they think maybe they've seen a movie, and this robot can do everything, right? And maybe like a one-to-one replacement for a person, or like a Terminator, even in the worst case scenario, right? Your C3PO to Terminator idea. But really, that's not exactly the way that things are happening in the real world today. So people often ask us, why bathrooms? Like, did you guys always want to be janitors when you were little kids? Something like that. And so the backstory for us is that we had this idea of, okay, we want to make Boston Dynamics style robots, right? These kind of general purpose, backflip, what you see in the movies, that kind of stuff. But it's really hard. So let's break down the problem into things like move around the world, right? And then maybe actuation. So hands and feet. Let's just, use general terms there. And so, okay, let's start off with feet. That was our first idea, move around the world. But feet are too hard, so let's do driving, right? So just physically, let's move around the world. And actually, Eugene and I, my co-founder, we initially started our kind of exploration or, our journey into robotics with self-driving, actually. And so we spent a bunch of time building out the product, and really just learning about prototyping. We came from the software world, so there's a lot of learnings and a pretty steep learning curve when it comes to getting into hardware and specifically robotics. And we developed this self-driving project that was going to be on the street and all this good stuff. What we learned from that was a couple of really important lessons. And that really guided us towards the bathroom, which kind of sounds a bit funny, but when you dive into it, it kind of makes perfect sense, at least from our perspective. So first idea was, you want to move around the world, that's great. You find out that weather, so being outside, is really hard. And then unstructured spaces are also really, really hard. And so the road is a pretty good spot because it's structured, but the problematic side of it is that it's outside. And then also there's a safety aspect. So you talked about, should we be scared of robotics? Not necessarily referring to the physical aspect of it, but there is a factor. This is a machine, it could hurt you. And so especially with self-driving, you see some examples. That brings along with it regulations, which was another idea. Okay, so we kind of saw some of these problems, and then we said, okay, if we wanted to make the problem easier for ourselves, right? So indoors, if possible, slow moving, and slow moving and lightweight basically means built-in safety.
Right.
a static environment, so less changes in the environment. That allows you to do certain cheats. For example, you can do HD mapping that stays for a long time, because HD mapping could be expensive if you have to do it all the time. So you're just trying to make the problem easier and easier. And then you want to just also have a big market where you can provide a lot of value to people. And if you just keep moving, kind of through those problems, you end up wanting the scenario where you're inside, moving slowly, but we still want to be in the real world. So we saw the factory as kind of like this, not necessarily solved problem, but there's a lot of people playing there. There's already delivering a lot of value. So that's not something that maybe that we're going to be able to kind of have a deep impact on. So let's move into quote unquote the real world, the wild, we call it, where regular people are. And so, yeah, we end up in the bathroom because everything's bolted down to the floor. And you can kind of get all these benefits to be able to get to market quickly. And Michael, so that was kind of our solution for that.
Right. Great context. Why should people embrace robotic automation versus potentially fear it? And maybe that's in the context of those that are responsible for that task today.
Sure, for the roles. So, and again, this is like a really important point that I think some people, don't want to talk about, or in the industry or something like that. And I think just the opposite. I think it should be talked about, and it's a very valid point. So on the quick, my quick answer to that is something like everyone, I mean, certainly on this call, agrees that people should make a living wage. And, if you're working, I think like the American dream or something like that is, yeah, you can, kind of have a great life and provide for your family, and just kind of live that good life if you're working, right? And so obviously this is a job that needs to be done, right? We need to clean bathrooms. That's a safety and health issue. If somebody's doing that, we want to get them a living wage. Well, we think about our customers as cleaning teams, and we want to kind of help them as a business make money, right? Mm-hmm. Got to make money, but their employees also have to be able to be paid a living wage, right? And so how do we make people get paid? Well, you make them more efficient, right? So we all use computers, you use your phone, GPS, right? Use all these great tools, and that's going to help you get paid, right? So you're now more valuable to society, and therefore you can kind of be more productive. And capitalism, you'll get paid more. Okay, so as a cleaning team, if we took the worst part of your job, what's considered the least desirable, mm-hmm. I think if you took a poll, you can use your common sense, but you can look at that. We speak to customers all the time. Nobody volunteers to clean the bathrooms. When you're talking about sweeping, taking out the trash, this is on the bottom of that list. So if we can do the most monotonous part of their job, that's the least desirable, then get their cleaning company paid more, right? Because they're lowering their costs, and then their workers could get paid more. The end customer could save money. So I always like to say that sounds like a win-win-win. What's the catch? There isn't. How do we do that? It's not magic, it's technology. So like 2 thumbs up for America. That's what we're here to do. So, we can make money, and our customers can make money.
You kind of alluded to it, but it's like any new technology. Whenever there's something new, there's always some level of fear, question mark, can't work. Why would it work? Because you don't know until it's here. And then it's like, then you have that classic line of like, how did we live without it? Yeah. Why it makes perfect sense. Having said that, whether it's the challenges or the opportunity, what do you think poses automation, bathroom cleaning and automation as relates to human tasks? So whether you want to look at that as a opportunity or challenge, but given where we are today as a business, what are sort of those hurdles to kind of move forward from what humans can do versus what
Sure.
a robot can do?
So I kind of alluded to it when I said something like, we try to take like most of it, or like the dull parts of it, but you're exactly right. There are some aspects of, what humans do well versus what machines do well. So machines do kind of that 80-90% of the job, something that you're doing monotonous every single day. Let's say not the corner cases, right? And then humans are amazing at just being very adaptive, right? You could throw anybody into any kind of situation and somehow they adapt. And so we try to kind of focus on our strengths. So the way even our technology is built, it's a hybrid approach. We use humans in the loop, and kind of even more than some other players in other, let's say traditional automation techniques. We lean heavy on humans. So humans are great at doing this kind of adaptive work, and we use them for that. And machines, they're going to do this repetitive stuff. So the humans kind of set it up. The machines then will do that same thing that you told them to do for the next 10 years. And then when you actually get into the bathroom, your classic work that you're doing, the way our robots work is they use this touchless cleaning system. They spray chemicals, power wash with water and vacuum, basically. Okay, so that's going to be what the robots are doing. And then what happens if you have some random object or, some corner case? That's where the humans take over. And so
Right,
there's like this
right. So
balance.
I'm hearing a bit of a team effort here.
Absolutely.
Right. Couple more questions. What I imagine, again, viewers may think, okay, commercial buildings make sense. I got a question around kind of COVID, post-behavioral change in a minute. But what are the other obvious places that come to mind, whether it's schools or airports?
Sure.
What are the other places that people should expect to see Somatic as it grows?
Yeah. So I think, office buildings are the bread and butter, but you have things, any kind of commercial space where you're going to have bathrooms. So that's going to be hospitals, sports stadiums, airports, like you mentioned, really wherever you're having a commercial bathroom. And obviously our customers are spending money to keep those clean and safe. That's where you're going to see a Somatic.
Great. Now back to the kind of COVID question.
Sure.
As you and I, we met for the first time in Union Square, if I recall.
Yeah.
Coffee. There was no COVID, there was no quarantine, but we loved the idea. We stayed in touch with you, and now we're in a very different world, a different climate. So, what does that mean? More excited, more bullish, more obvious, more opportunity? Again, a bit loaded as a new and excited investor, but
Sure,
so a bit
sure.
biased, but maybe try to answer that not as biasly.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Okay. So first idea is like, we built this business pre-COVID, right? It was conceived pre-COVID, and so we think it's a great business with or without, right? So whatever happens into the future, I'm not, kind of fortune teller, but cleaning bathrooms is a thing that existed for a long time, and we expect it to continue into the future, regardless of where we are with that. So that's the first and most important point I'll say about COVID. But on the other side, just to give it, kind of counter, let's say the obvious answer is yes. Obviously, our customers are much more interested, right? Or there's, let's say, an increased level of interest, especially in a short term, because there's this change where we want less people around other people, let's say in the immediate term. Robots obviously do that. And then also there's a safety thing. Robots can't get infected, right? But I think of it as, if you're building a great business, you have to be able to kind of have that business exist, whatever the market conditions are going to be. This is, it's obviously a very scary time for people and things like that. But from the business perspective, it's been a boom, let's say, for cleaning, especially robotic cleaning. So I think obviously it increased kind of customer interest. So that's a favorable thing on the business side. As harsh or as, kind of rough as that scenario is for obviously society. But I think of it as, we're building a great business. It's going to be here pre or post COVID, whatever the future may bring.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way I think about it.
Great. Michael, last sort of just last question. Give us a sense of everything from how old the company is, how big the team is, you've raised some capital, whatever you want to share, just some kind of some data points around Somatic.
Yeah, we're about 2 years old this summer, so we're having our birthday. We just kind of completed our, with you guys joining, obviously, we just completed our kind of seed round, and now we're growing our team. So we're now 9 people. I'm super excited about that. We're working super hard, kind of on product and advancing that to get it to the point where you're hopefully going to see a lot of kind of robots in the real world, as I mentioned earlier. And I would recommend that if everyone wants to kind of follow our progress, we're super kind of bullish on video. So just like we're doing right now, we put out videos on YouTube. Everyone should go to youtube.com/getsomatic and check us out. Awesome.
Yeah, Michael, we're certainly going to share this conversation as well as the videos that you have on YouTube, which is easily the most effective way to show what the robot can do, and something we got excited about. So we're going to do that. So Michael, with that, it was great to talk to you. Super excited to be partnered. More excited to see what's next, and really appreciate you carving some time out. So thank you.
Thanks so much. Yeah, we're super excited to be working with C2V. Thanks so much.